Hi, Libra Sun and Rising. Welcome to your November 2023 Astro Update. It's Rena here. So, November is a little bit quieter than October, and I'm recording this reading a couple of days before the solar eclipse in your sign. So, if you happen to be listening right around that time in the middle of October, you will understand that November is after the eclipse cycle has taken place, or the season. And I will say that sometimes, because of the nature of eclipses, the effects can, reverberate into the following month for sure. So it's not to say that you're just going to be completely without, unencumbered by anything that may have begun in, even in some cases, September, because it can happen before then. So the last eclipse in October is on the 28th in Taurus. So in your particular chart, that's the 8th house, and that should be very intense if you're listening before then. And so and that's like right at the end of the month. So coming into November, your second house is activated with the sign of Scorpio. So those any transits through there can really benefit you financially in some cases. So as the month begins, the sun is in Scorpio, and it is in that second house. And during that eclipse, the 8th house was activated, but it was a lunar eclipse, so that meant that the sun was in the second house. So this idea of your money versus somebody else's may have been a theme at the end of October, carrying you into November. And if you're coupled and for some reason you found out something about your partner's finances that affected you, then that might have been, part of the theme of that. So whether your partner is not making money right now and you're kind of stepping up to the plate to do so, or whatever is going on, that could, affect you personally. But even like maybe getting money from another source was actually what happened. And so you're, kind of like dealing with that. And on the 4th, Saturn goes direct. Now, Saturn goes direct at 0 degrees of Pisces. In your particular chart, this is the 6th house of work. So all of these things could be connected because, work is where you make money, right? And Saturn in this sector since March, but retrograde since what, June? I can't remember when it went retrograde, but a few months ago. This may have been a little bit dampening your work life if, you were, especially if you're doing work, contract work, where you don't like have a steady job, like you have to keep getting jobs. That may have lessened it because Saturn can be restrictive, but it may have been because you were looking at alternatives, kind of going within, as we are wont to do during retrogrades, and questioning our motives sometimes, or our values, and other times. But this may have been even just like a lack of desire to work, a lack of motivation or discipline. And now you got your mojo back. So that's awesome. And that could help you financially as well. When Saturn is in your 6th house, there can be this understanding that you have within yourself that you're going to have to really work at what you're doing, and you can't just kind of skate by. and you are committed to it. And I believe that this can even apply to people who have their own business. It's not just, working for somebody else, and they're really going to put in that effort. The sixth house is also your day-to-day life. So you may, especially if you work for yourself and you don't have like that artificial regimentation, if that's a word, and you have to kind of like, you make your own hours or whatever. That's not, take it from somebody who has my natal Neptune in the sixth house. That's not necessarily a natural thing that people have within themselves. If you're disciplined, you're disciplined. If you're not, you have to kind of like figure out strategies so that you can stay on task and do what you need to do. And the sixth house is also health. So if you find that there are like health, like you can't kind of like skate in that area either, that things are a lot more strict. Sometimes this is age related, where you know how it is when you're younger, your metabolism might be off the charts, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa. And you might have to be more disciplined about your diet. Or the types of foods, sometimes, or sleep even, where people can get by in a few hours of sleep and then all of a sudden, no, they can't. On the 8th, Venus goes into Libra, and that's your sign. So there you go. Venus in the first house, and you're ruled by Venus. So that's another added thing that's going on here, and that can give you extra magnetism. You already have it. Being ruled by Venus, you already have that charm factor going for yourself. But this just adds to it. And, when people have that, that can, positively affect any area of life. If you're single, you might be more attractive to others. If you're looking for a job, you might be more attractive to others. On the 13th, there's a new moon at 20 degrees of Scorpio in your second house of money and possessions. Cha-ching. So this is an area that you had a lunar eclipse in May. So did you have in the last, oh my God, has it been 6 months since that eclipse in May? That is cray-cray, because just based on me thinking about it, even though it's only October when I'm recording this, still 5 months, that is really like time absolutely flew, no question. So this can be new beginnings with money, a new situation, new income stream, new seeds planted in general about generating income. On the 22nd, the sun goes into Sag, and 2 days later, Mars goes into Sag. This is a friendly angle to you, Libra, the third house, which is an air house, because it's Gemini's house. It's called a mental house. Not because Gemini is mental, but because, it is mental, but not crazy. I mean, it's, it's a house that deals with the mind, and it's the mundane mind, the day-to-day communication and navigation of this world. It's your local area. It's your siblings. It's your extended family, like your aunts, uncles, cousins. And the sun going here, it could be something connected to learning a new skill. Mars going here, watch out for any kind of aggression with your family, siblings and cousins and things like that, any kind of like arguments, or neighbors. Maybe you are putting a lot of effort into something related to communication. The social media, this is the house of social media. So there might be, and just even talking, you might be very, it could, I don't see this with the average Libra, argumentative, but aggressive. Yeah, I mean, people can be aggressive verbally who normally aren't. So just be aware of I was going to say, mind your P's and Q's. But it could just simply be that you're pouring a lot of energy into your mental side of life, your studies, studying a new skill, and possibly being more active in your local area, or maybe active with your siblings. On the 27th, we have a full moon at 4 degrees of Gemini, a fellow air sign. So this is coming from the 9th house, full moon in the 9th. Sometimes this can be like a spiritual download, an aha moment. This is a philosophical part of the chart. Your life philosophy. And this is actually Sag's domain. So the fact that you're having this, that the Sun and Mars are in Sag at the time that you have a full moon in the opposite house, that might be if you're like graduating from college. Yes, people do graduate in the winter or in the late fall. Nowadays, they graduate at all times of the year. And this can be a time when you are maybe like ending, even if you're not graduating, you just decide, okay, this is my last semester at college. I'm done with this. And that might have something to do with Mars going into that third house, because you might say, hey, I can train to become an X-ray technician in 6 months, and I don't have to go to college for 4 years, and it's a lot cheaper going to a community college. You could be like thinking of it in those terms, but it just might be something. If you've been working on traveling, either you might be finished traveling, but with full moons, it can bring things to fruition. So if you've been trying to make that happen, it could happen. And that, the solar eclipse in your sign, Libra, means that you're going to experience this expansion. How it manifests, that could be one way it manifests through, increasing your territory. So that could be what is happening towards the end of November. So that's what I have for you, Libra. I hope that resonated. If you would like a private reading, I'm promoting my deep dive double readings, astrological readings, especially for people that are experiencing solar returns or the sun crossing, for your rising sign, if your rising sign is Libra, because these are new cycles that are, happening, and the transits can be especially interesting since you're looking at the next 12 months anyway, just by having these transits. And so it's an hour of natal chart interpretation, an hour of transits for the next 12 months for a special price. And I have other package deals and standalone readings as well. You can find out more information at the link below. I'm at ReinaMoonAstrology.com. Thanks for listening. Bye.